So today's theme, I want to focus on integrating energies that may have been suppressed, and now these energies are enlivened in the body. Some old habits may still be coming on board, which might be an old habit of trying to then again suppress it or get busy and avoid it in a way that we remove ourselves from energy, in a way becoming separate from it. So all of my teachings and the guidance that I give is about the direct experience of non-separation, that sense of wholeness and unity consciousness that all of us are a part of, that is already available within each and every one of us. So this is a large capacity, and within this capacity is an ability and a skill to meet anything that arises. So let me just say on that point about energies, one person spoke of, not wanting to identify with it and thinking maybe that it was important to separate from it. So what I want to say is that this energy can be met, and that in the meeting of it, by accepting, allowing it to be as it is, that there's a very beautiful kind of mystery that takes place, how these energies transform and they harmonize in our systems, and they become energy that then is useful for our productivity, for our creativity, for our life. It's really part of our life force. So we don't want to move away. We don't want to separate. We want to be able to take time to pause and allow these energies to be fully present with as much charge that is there. And notice that if you do try to avoid or resist, suppress in any way, that it does feed into an old habit, and it sort of solidifies an old way of behaving that doesn't necessarily serve anymore and isn't necessary. So really and truly, it's an invitation to explore much more of the unknown. How would I be without this? What would life be without it? And am I willing to find out? Now, the other question was around energy of fear. The person called it fear. I'm just going to call it energy, but of not having control and feeling some degree of desperation. And much of this is related to a false sense of security. Often we can be identified so much with our personality, our behaviors, or different people that have been important in our life, or our conditioning, as to give us a sense of who we are. So with that is created a familiar sense of self. And it's a false sense, though, and it's really very much like building castles in the sand. So when a strong wind comes, the sandcastle doesn't really have a foundation. So when this energy of losing control is present, it's really an invitation for us to go beneath it, to really get much stronger in our base. And it's opening up this portal to the deepest security, the deepest ground, the deepest connection to our power, to who we are, to the force that is already living us. So in many ways, what comes to me right away is not my will, but thy will be done. And this is a common theme in many of the 12-step programs and in pretty much every spiritual path, to kind of get out of our own way and to allow something else to guide us. And in that, we are, in a sense, very much relinquishing control. We're relinquishing our personal agendas, perhaps, or our expectations, or our worldview. So the invitation there is to be able to kind of soften into this sense of allowing yourself to be comfortable with what is uncomfortable, and to notice all the different ways that we may move away from our discomforts, from our shakiness, from our anxieties, from whatever might be stirring the pot, and to kind of sit in the fire, to sit with ourselves and to get whatever support it is we need to be able to burn off this false sense of self and to come into a deeper sense of security. So let's write from the top. Take off the label fear and let this just be energy, energies moving in the body, energies that are looking for the quiet spaces within, so that they can harmonize, or they're looking just to dissipate, or they're looking just to be seen and felt for exactly as they are, without moving, without trying to change. So you'll find that my meditations, the foundation of all these meditations, are simply to allow everything to be as it is. It's profound. That's like a wide invitation, where we, at first, there may be a lot of commotion and noise in the system, where we start to see all of our strategies. But to be able to just come into a posturing of noticing and allowing, and the most important ingredient is kindness. To be ever so kind with yourself, to be ever so forgiving of any way in which we might have behaved in the past, or any way in which somebody may have behaved toward us and we held it on and protected ourselves and guarded ourselves and became perhaps isolated in a really tight, dark place. So let's go ahead and begin the meditation. There's nothing better than direct experience, to actually fall into those quiet spaces inside and to let them be the lead, to let silence be your medicine, and to see when you get quiet, when you open to a listening that isn't of the physical ears, that isn't a listening to the conceptual knowledge in the mind, but listening to heart, wisdom, to quiet, and where does it take us? So let yourself be relaxed in your body. You don't have to remain in any kind of held posture. Instead, let the breath lift you. Let yourself soften and relax in your body. Go ahead and close your eyes if you haven't done so. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel the base of your body. Invite the breath to move more fully and more deeply, with more width in the body. Feel the breath move into the torso. Let it expand around the heart, the rib cage, and the back side of the heart. Inviting more of you to be here. More feeling, more sensation, more aliveness. Nothing needs to be suppressed. Let the shoulders be relaxed and open so that you can feel the breastbone lifted in a very soft, gentle way, so that any guardedness or heaviness around the heart can be felt, can be seen. And allowing that, as well as any sense of lightness and openness, And notice as you breathe in the body and you give more attention in the body, that naturally we're descending more from thought, more from being top heavy. And let the breath descend down into the belly, widening at the base, breathing the full width of the solar plexus of the abdominal region right down into the hip carriage, including the sexual organs, this incredible potential for creation, for dynamic aliveness. And breathing down through the legs as if you have roots in the base of the body, through the bottoms of the feet, making a very wide and deep connection to Pachamama or Gaia, to the earth. Something that is important to acknowledge and nourish. Our roots, our connection to all living things. And as we care for her, she cares for us. Very beautiful possibility here in the relationship to the earth, which is incredibly useful when it comes to feeling a deep sense of security, to anchor and to ground through the base of the body, to let these energies here enliven while at the same time grounding, settling in the base. The source of deep nourishment. You may also notice as you ground and anchor through the base of the body that there's a energy of warmth. There's a lot of fire in the base, and if you see color, you may see the colors of orange and red. Very fiery, very alive. Now, as we continue, every now and then take notice of the base, your foundation, of ensuring a very strong foundation rooted here, often referred to as the foundation of being, of existence. Now allow the breath to simply relax as it will, without any effort to move it now. And notice there's already a shift in the body, in the mind, in the system. And allow your attention to relax behind you, behind the sense of you, more as the space of you. You see, awareness doesn't have a particular location. So I'm referring to your unlocatable essence, spaciousness, the space of you that notices whatever might be happening in the body-mind system. As content, as energy, sensation, thoughts or feelings. So relaxing as spaciousness, allowing whatever is here to be here. So this capacity to relax is coupled with a capacity of trust. And I don't mean trusting anything in particular within you, but trusting in this unlocatable, formless essence that I referred to earlier, perhaps as thy will, something greater, something more, something with a great universal intelligence, very wise and kind. So you're just relaxing into a wider, wise intelligence. You may feel it more behind you or beneath you, on all sides in front, not looking to land anywhere, just a soft relaxation, like you're relaxing into the comfort of a very kind, wise beingness that only knows love, that only knows tenderness and care. It knows the best for each of us. In some moments, you may feel like you're suspended in space or falling. You may feel an absence of you, an emptying. Let yourself empty and not resist. Just let go. Let yourself fall here, nowhere, nowhere to land. Notice any tendency to hold, to reach, to grasp, or something familiar. Know that you can do that, but it will be temporary. It will be a temporary sense of security. Just let go. Falling, nothing to hold on to, nothing to know. Let yourself become more familiar with a sense of absence, an absence of you, as you empty and fall away from all that's familiar, to let all of that go and to be a mystery to yourself, to be unknown, to not hold anything. It's a pretty nice feeling with tremendous potential. So I'm going to speak for just a few more minutes, but feel free to keep your eyes closed, to continue to fall into yourself, even when your sensations are stimulated, listening to my voice or listening to whatever might be happening in your environment, that it doesn't disturb this deeper space that's unlocatable, already quiet, fully grounded. So this is where the deepest sense of security is found. And nobody can give this to you, and nobody can take it away. So you may wonder then, in your ordinary day-to-day activity, how does this function? Well, it functions through your capacity to remain open, to listen, and to feel from a space of absence, from a space of nobodiness. How am I being guided? How am I being informed? Where are these energies leading? Or are they energies that I just need to allow to settle? Or are they energies that need to be given a voice? So here, if some kind of strong energy or sensation arises in this quiet space of you, you can come into a dialogue with it from your conscious mind. As now my conscious mind is speaking and listening and feeling and sensing into what wants to be spoken here to you. And in the very same way, if you feel energies in yourself and they're alive and wanting something, you can just listen. What's needed here? And you can speak to that place inside and ask, what's wanted? I received a very beautiful statement, you could say, as part of an application where someone has a regular dialogue with what he calls his little boy. And it's so beautiful to hear this. You know that there are younger aspects of your humanity that might still have a missed experience, may want something, whether it be the little girl that was abandoned, the little boy that was abandoned in an early time. And there is a missed experience there where he or she wants to be held or listened to or seen. or just to have some kind of reassurance. So that doesn't mean that you're crazy. It's a very important part of our Western psychology to come into dialogue with the different aspects of who we are, and then to allow them to integrate into the adult you, into the adult expression of you. So to be able to take time to spend with these parts. And another person asked, well, do I need to become more familiar with my biological lineage? Maybe this energy isn't mine, it belongs to someone else, and I'm carrying it. I'd say it's not exactly necessary to research that lineage, but to explore you, and to, even if it is an energy that isn't your own, you can meet it, you can listen to it, you can find out about it. I had one particular man on a retreat who was very much carrying the energy of his grandfather. And it was very evident in the retreat because we opened up the space for that to happen. And that old soldier, he was a prisoner of war, and he needed to be attended to. There was wounding there that needed attention. There was quite a bit of old hurt, fear, and abandonment. So just for some kindness, to come to that, for some nourishment to come to that. So in a sense, here in this unfolding, as you mature in your evolution and really embody this incarnation, it's sometimes you're reparenting yourself. But what I'm trying to underline here is that first, to be able to abandon all of your agendas and techniques and conditioning, to let all of that fall away, and to let yourself sink and fall into the depth of you, the unlocatable, quiet ground of being. Just to fall and fall, and to let yourself be unlocatable, to let yourself be absent. So you're not labeling anything, you're not clinging or holding on, but to let that trust come that all of this isn't really necessary, and there is a soft place. I said a place, although you can't locate it, but to just fall away from everything that's familiar. So there may be an energy of insecurity that runs through the system in the process of this, but you let that happen and you fall anyway. That's where the trust comes in. And trust maybe won't even come until you let yourself fall and you find that you're stronger and you feel even more secure, more alive, more potent, more capable. So this is the proof. And then the capacity to stand on your own 2 feet, to be here in this incarnation, and to be of benefit to humanity becomes more valuable to you. And isn't this what we want? But we must attend to these spaces inside if they call us. It's like not to create a project for yourself, but if it arises and it's up for you and it's beckoning attention, then you give it. Otherwise, just enjoy yourself. Enjoy this life. Enjoy, the incarnation that you've chosen to be lived through.